Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm presenting, this is my office, is a herd of cattle. So every project we do is actually belonging to one only project. The big project is the idea of the office is that every cow of that herd is a project, and every one of those projects is connected to each other genetically as the cattle of that herd. So it's very hard for me to distinguish and to separate one project or one cattle from the rest of the herd. And so all the projects have somehow a connection. So that's why I'm gonna start introducing some of the projects we have been doing in these years to get to the point of talking about these two projects we are developing in Canada now. This is a project that we have just finished in Jesolo, close to the seaside in Italy, in the Adriatic Sea, and it's a building for residences and for commercial in the base, and it looking to the seaside. But I'm not going to talk about that. This is an atelier that has been built many years ago in Turin, and it deals with the theme of water, how water can become an ecological element to cool down the building when the weather is too hot, and to keep the flowers inside the building fresh. This is another building that we built in the northern part of Italy, in the northeastern part of Italy, and it's a hotel that deals with the theme of water again, but in another form. It's frozen water, it's snow. Or this is a restoration of an old quarry and the brick factory, in which we introduced into an old silo. We transformed the old silo into an office building. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about the projects we are doing in Canada. And one of the projects that some years ago won something organized by the platform that was Arc Marathon in Miami is a maison glacée, is a building that freezes and protects from the cold with the cold, uses the cold to protect itself from the cold. Then this is a project that was exposed this year at the Biennale in Venice, and is a project for indigenous people in Canada. Is a film school, and we are going to start next year the construction. Now we are developing all the construction drawings. But now I'm talking a little bit more about one building that is under construction in Toronto. Is a house, is a big family house, a little bit of an art gallery, and between an art gallery and a family house. Is located, as you can see, this is the center of Toronto, even it doesn't look like, but and it's really into the one of the most important parts of Toronto, but into a ravine, so a very, very rich area of Toronto. This is the location on the ravine, and this, excuse me. This is the idea that stands below. This is the idea that creates the building. That ravine is, I'm going back to the drawing, but I don't have a pointer to show. I can show you. This ravine is all the water from this part of the city somehow drains down toward the ravine. And this location, the location of our building, is exactly in the point where the water flows. So we call this house the flowing water, because it allows the water to flow underneath it. Somehow it plays with the name of falling water, but of course we are not so ambitious to do something like that. And this building is, we work a lot with models. That's how we understand, we use to understand how to build a thing, how to understand the materiality too. Even if we just use cardboard, we use the model making as an understanding of the form and the relation between the existing landscape or the land and the building. This is the relation that this is how it is. It was before getting started, and this is how the house is gonna look from the street. So it looks like a small bungalow, just something that is very modest, that doesn't change the view from of the city and the understanding of the city. But when you see the same building from the bottom of the ravine, you will understand this this element that flies on top and goes down, and starts working with the landscape and coming down. This is a very preliminary rendering. We are not good in doing rendering. It's not the method we express our architecture, but it's something that has been is always more requested a little bit by the clients, which we can convince without the renderings, but more and more by the city permission people. This is how the house, what in my opinion is interesting about this house is it develops around the courtyard and it's suspended on the air. So when you enter from the street, you go through an open corridor, and then you land in front of this, you arrive in front of the main stairways that goes down, so you have a straight perception toward the ravine and toward the city. And all the living area wraps around this courtyard that is something that you look from the top, but is standing very close to you. This is the kind of perception you will have, again, a terrible rendering from the courtyard, and the building is going to be developed all around. And in the bottom, and as you can see, there is a part that overlooks the ravine that is a covered patio. In that covered patio, you will have a full understanding. It's a place where to have events and art exhibits or stuff like that. And this is the plan. And I'm not going to tell you about bedrooms and kitchens. You just understand that by yourself, looking at the idea. But the building is always a relation between open space and closed space, and that's because that piece of land allows that. This part on the bottom is where the water is going to flow underneath the building. That's the section that explains a little bit more how this element works, this suspended building works. And on the bottom part, there is all the amenities like the swimming pool, the gym, and some family rooms, storage, and in relation with the outside and with the landscape. So this is what you will see from the street. This is the stairway that goes down. So the stairway is always allows you to look outside. This is the construction of the building that is going on now, and that's pretty much all about this house. We are convinced that at the end it will be it's majestic, it's very big for our standards. So it has been not easy for us to understand the speciality of that, but at the end I think it will come out something that we will learn a lot from. The other building I'm talking is a bigger building, is for 16 apartments, and it's on Davenport. Davenport is one of the roads of Toronto that was designed. It was already there before white people arrived, so it was an old path for indigenous people from Toronto to get to the lake. And it's that right line that you see doesn't follow the grid of the city. This part here is downtown Toronto that develops in this direction, and in which more and more high-rise buildings are going up. We deal with that area. This is Davenport. This road here is Davenport. It comes down, and you see it doesn't follow any rule. Any geometric rule of the rest of the city. Our lot is very small, but the peculiarity of this lot is that all the street is developing now, is building bigger buildings, and we have a problem because in this side of the road where we are going to build, on the backyard of our building, there is all the development and all very old development of housing that is, there are very rich houses, though although small. So houses with garden, Victorian style, and somehow we have to deal with that because a lot of powerful people, politicians, actors and writers live in that neighborhood on the back. So this is our understanding was going to build something that was not too high, but was somehow playing with the shadow and helping the building, not going to cast any shadow into the garden of these powerful people. So all the drawing, all the design of this building follows this attitude. And in the other way, it relates with this old building that is not really interesting, but is a protected building. And so we decided to continue with a different language, that line, and build something different on top. On the backyard, looking to on those gardens, the building has a completely different attitude. It becomes more modest, more domestic. It inclines the roof, and it creates a series of terraces, and it uses. There is a use of material that becomes more familiar and more modest. We are using metal grids to screen the big glass facades behind that somehow bring back the scale of the house. While on the main street, we keep this more urban attitude and this more urban relation. This section and this elevation explains a little bit how our thought about the urban facade and the backyard facade that becomes more like suburban facade. The big problem we had is that the lot is very small, so the use of the lot, the use of the land that we had to be very, very well thought through, and so we have elevators that brings down the car, and all the main floor there is just one main store that is one main office that is the architecture office of the owner of that building. So I'm working for an architect somehow. That's something that even the house before is for another architect. So my clients are mostly architects. I don't understand that. That's why I have very few clients. And this is the division. I'm not going to talk about the division of the housing because is something very flexible. But the idea is that structurally we are going to keep that flexibility. We will have few main walls that will hold the most of the building. And this is the building when it gets eroded and corroded to allow the relation with the neighborhood on the back. So this, again, another change on the view from the north part where the stairway is, and it becomes, and where we don't know what will happen in this corner because we are sure that something is going to happen very soon there. So we kind of close that part, creating something that is not going to, with which is very easy to relate to, and which even if we could open windows because we have an alley passing by, but we prefer to keep that to bring all the elevators and stairs in that direction, so that we give some freedom to the people who's gonna design later. And this is where everything happens from. This is our office in Chieri, just outside Torino. Thank you very much for being here.